And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Wooldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel, Visions Aviation. And for the first time in the show's history, we're live on Twitch as well. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for persevering with us. We had a couple of issues that we've now ironed out, so we are good to go. I'm just going to get that paused there. So that's good. So now it should be fine. Hope you're all well. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me this evening is, of course, our wonderful co-host. Not that one. That one there. It's Steve Wooldridge. Steve, good evening to you. How are you this evening?
Yep, evening, Tom. Even everyone at home watching us this evening. I hope you're all well. And it's always a bonus. It's a bank holiday weekend. I hate Mondays at the best of times. So the fact I don't have to go in tomorrow is a absolute bonus. What about yourself?
Wonderful. How has your bank holiday weekend been so far?
Yeah, nice. I spent yesterday doing a little bit of spotting down Bournemouth with Jack and Isaac, a couple of decent young lads into their spotting down there. We saw Ryanair, Chewy, and a Lauda, which was pretty much the reason I went down there. So that was good. So yeah, other than that, today was just a lazy Sunday. Watched a bit of football and got ready for this pretty much.
Fantastic. Wonderful stuff. We'll bring you back shortly. Also joining us this evening, I'll explain why the spinny wheel of destiny is behind me, but joining us this evening as well is our favourite northern man. It's Ian Hartley. Ian, good evening to you. How are you on this Sunday evening?
I'm very, very good, thanks, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I had to kind of think of then if it was Sunday, and I was like, because I'm so used to like doing this on a Wednesday, but no, all good, not too bad here. A little bit hectic for the week, and obviously not been very well, but I'm over that now, so we're all good.
Yeah, but like you say, at least it's a bank holiday weekend, and you can have a chilled out evening, really, and just have a rest tomorrow as well, can't you?
Pretty much.
And then back to work Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah, how's your bank holiday weekend been so far?
I've not really done much, to be quite honest, Tom. It's just like a normal weekend, to be honest. It's I went fishing today, and that's about it, really. Washing, cooking, cleaning, shopping, all the rest of it. Yeah, it's boring stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, standard boring stuff.
Weather's turned a bit nasty up here as well. It's been really, really nice all week, and then you get to weekend and it's like drizzled all day today, to be quite honest. So
yeah,
can't really do much, can you?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, we'll bring you back very, very shortly.
Where's he? Sorry, can I just make a comment on this?
Go on.
Where's Ian Hartley from?
Go on, where are you from?
I'm from Preston, up in Lancashire, Max Jet.
Good lad.
TV Live.
There we go.
Where are you from?
In the evening. Yeah, where are you from?
Yeah.
But we'll bring you back shortly so you can find out his answer.
Yep.
And our guest for this evening, known in some quarters as Mr. Encyclopaedia. You'll find him on Speedbird TV. As Mr. Knowledge himself, it's Matteo Mariano. Matteo, good evening to you. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Thank you, obviously, for coming onto the show this evening to talk to us. Obviously, you've been very busy over this weekend as well. For people that have watched your, watched Speedbird TV and things like that. So it's nice for you to spare some time for us.
No, it's been a great week, and it's been lovely to be here tonight. Thank you.
Fantastic. How, obviously, barring the obvious, for those that obviously watch you on Speedbird TV, how's your weekend been so far?
Yeah, great. Busy.
We
pulled an all-dayer down at Heathrow yesterday. We did a stream in the morning, those who were watching will be aware. And then we spent pretty much the whole afternoon raiding the bar at the Thistle Hotel down at London Heathrow. And today, just been with the family, eating lots, had a nice walk. It's been great.
Beautiful. No better way to spend it.
Oh, yes. 100%.
Fantastic. Right, let's bring everybody back so everyone can say hello, hello.
Evening. How you doing? All right?
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Matt? How are you, Steve? You both all right?
Yeah, good, mate.
All good.
Happy there. Double thumbs up off Matt there. That's always good.
A lazy single one from me.
Good stuff. Right, so let's jump into this. So let's, before we get into the comments stuff, we'll go over a few housekeeping rules. So you can find us on social media. We are, as I say, we're live on not live on Instagram, but we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course Twitch, which we're streaming to for the first time tonight. So if you fancy giving us a follow on any of those, do feel free to do so. Also, we have a shop, which, Steve, if you'd like to show your wonderful T-shirt that's limited edition, seeing as you're wearing it this evening. There it is.
Let me get the port out of the way. Look at that.
It is the limited edition. He's pulling the face as well. You can't go wrong. It's a limited edition Steve Waldridge Cheerio, my lovelies T-shirt. It's his famous saying that he has, which you can find on the shop, which is also in the description below as well. And of course, if you want to follow in Matteo's footsteps and be on the show, feel free to drop us a message on any of our social medias and we'll get you on as soon as we can. Right, first, a little announcement as to why the spinny wheel of destiny is behind me. So we recently, last week we introduced the super chats, and we figured this week we were going to do a little bit of a giveaway. So what we've opted to do, it's entirely optional, but to enter the giveaway, I'm going to bring up the thing now. There we go. So if anybody super chats £5 or more this evening, we'll enter you into the giveaway, which will take place at the end of the show. What's the prize? Free merch. You can't go wrong with free merch. Literally as much as you like, up to a certain limit. But yeah, so anyone that super chats £5 or more will get an automatic entry into the draw for a chance to win some free merch, and can't really turn down freebies in this day and age. So if you fancy that, just get a super chat in and we'll get your name onto the spinny wheel of destiny and we'll spin it at the end of the show. So now let's go through some comments because they are flying in from all over the place on Facebook and YouTube. Jack from Speedboat TV says, Matt, what a legend.
Thank you, Jack. Jack is as well. Jack's with us a lot.
Glenn is obviously hoping that you got your polo shirt on, which of course you do.
Oh, that way.
Jim Gemmell saying, after show drinks at the Thistle.
100%.
We've got Gary Hughes on YouTube saying, evening all.
Evening, Gary.
We've got Sarah Pass says evening everybody, so evening to you. Literally just going to go through a small handful, I'm not going to go too mental. Gail Leary says hi, Tom and Steve. Visions, of course, are here as well, saying good evening everybody. Of course, we've had the comment from MaxJet TV Live saying evening, also evening to you. Shay Pell on Facebook saying hello. And hide your APUs. Jack Rolls is here. He says it was a nice surprise having a cargo jet 767 at Bournemouth today, which is what they had indeed. Transatlantic Allison is here as well as always. Good evening to you. Taking time out of her very busy schedule, flying 3:30s to join us this evening. So thank you very much. Let's have a look. Just going to go through here. Darren Smith trying to be funny, so I'll take that. Putting literally super chat £5 in there. It's not quite how it works. A good try. Someone had to eventually, and that we'll go for that. And Martin Waldridge, last comment says ahoy.
Yeah, just in case you're not watching at the end, a big happy birthday for tomorrow. And I hope Mr. Mayor buys you a pint of Amstel this year because you deserve it. All right, have a good birthday and I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Cheerio, me lovelies.
How old is he, Steve?
Oh, I don't know if we should say, but 43.
Lovely job. Wonderful. So, as we know, Matteo is here with us. So, if anyone's got any questions for Matteo throughout the evening, do get them in, and we'll get them answered as quick as we can, but as soon as we can. So, let's get off and underway. So, Matteo, for anybody who might be watching who hasn't obviously seen your polo shirt and know anything about you, just give a brief introduction as to who you are.
So, I'm Matteo, or Matt, I think is what most people call me. And to be honest, I'm just a bit of an av geek. I'm also a student pilot. I've been doing kind of ATPLs for the last year or so. And I spend a lot of time around at airports, in particular London Heathrow. And I've also done a couple of bits in the Heathrow magazine. So that's where a few other people may recognise the name from. So yeah, I'm kind of out and about doing my own thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So so let's jump into it. So of course you mentioned probably I think you spoke to us about it off air and that, but you also mentioned that obviously at the moment you're sort of going through a course of like becoming a pilot, aren't you?
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about that and sort of how that's going.
So, what was it? It would have been in November 2019. I applied for the UK CAA ATPL integrated course. Basically, the airline transport pilot's license to hopefully fulfill my dream of becoming an airline pilot. I did my selection then, sadly failed. Did it again in February 2020, so just before COVID hit, and passed. So then I had bit of time to spare with all the kind of COVID lockdown, so I was just making the most of going down to the airport whilst there was not really much going on, obviously out of lockdown, of course. And then in January 2021 I started my course, where I'm currently based down in London, where I was basically doing all of the 13 ATPL exams, which was a rough ride. It's taken a bit longer than it should have. There were a few kind of hurdles along the way, a couple that I had to redo, but I've finally finished all 13 now. So ground school is complete. And if all goes well, just waiting on some kind of paperwork and documents. Hopefully next month I'll be heading off to Florida in the States, where I'll start my foundation flying and hour building towards my CPL, my commercial pilot's license.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that they make you do so much of the theory sort of pre-doing the practical these days. But I know obviously a lot of these companies used to do a lot of training sort of in Bournemouth or whatever. But I suppose the chance to go to America and fly in sort of more open airspaces and better climate and that must be really exciting and something
it's
to really
great.
cherish.
It was originally supposed to be down in Portugal, right in the middle of Portugal. So if you kind of picture it, right in the centre, basically in the middle of nowhere. But then we had some pretty exciting news that they were going to then change us over to Florida, which I think was quite well received by a lot of my course mates. So we're all super excited because America's so good for flying. Like all the air traffic control is so chilled out. It's basically all the kind of airspace revolves around aeroplanes, whereas here there's so many like obstacles and hurdles, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So much easier out there. It's made for aeroplanes, so we can't wait to be flying out there. And I think we're flying little 172s, but they're like brand new. I think they're registered from 2019, so they're all fitted out with kind of G1000 glass cockpits. They've got autopilot. They've got everything. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be
it sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a quick comment from Transatlantic Alison. Do you know whereabouts in Florida you'll be doing this yet?
At Sanford, which is, I think it's half an hour away from Orlando.
Fantastic.
So Disney World on my doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could you want?
Yeah, exactly. And he's about 4 hours drive away. So you got everything nearby. It's great. It's going to be really
wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, it'd be sad to come back to the rain and the wind and that when you've done it.
Well, yeah. Hey ho, I'm there for.
I was going to say, Transatlantic Alison has also said that you're going to be permanently skint as well, Matt. So I don't think Disneyland's going to be an option while you're down there, is it?
Yeah.
You can stand outside and look in.
Well, yeah. Well, to be honest, I think I've got to go at some point. Like, I've never been, and if I'm there for as long as I am, I think it'd be foolish not to go.
Absolutely, yeah. You'll get things like, is it the Epcot Centre and things like that? What are down there, and all I don't know. Do you know all the like space? Type places. Yes. Is it the Epcot Centre? I think that's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
that seems to be
something like that.
Space travel down there.
Kennedy Space Centre. That's all.
Kennedy Space Centre. Yeah, you'll see all that as well.
So,
yeah, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Better than Disneyland.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, definitely.
That'd be awesome. How long are you going to be there for then?
Between 6 to 8 months, but that's all subject to change because things like weather can get in the way. And even just the kind of scheduling. So should be about 6 months, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's a little bit more. Hopefully home for Christmas. That's what we've been told. Hopefully home for about Christmas.
Yeah, well, I've lost my pen for my whiteboard, so I'm just looking for it at the moment. It's all right. I'll just quickly interject. Jack Rolls, thank you very much. He says, Steve, I'm surprised I didn't get drenched from the cargo jet. I'm the only Muppet that did. Surprised you didn't get drenched?
I think he's saying I'm surprised I didn't go down for it.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Well, two things. One, I've seen one or two at Heathrow. No, it's not quite the same as seeing it during an airport. And secondly, I'm pleased I didn't because they changed the runway ops just as it disappeared. So I would have been thoroughly disappointed, to be honest. So unlucky, Jack.
Yeah. What was it? Jet 76 or something?
767, yeah.
Nice. Oh, brilliant. They are.
Yeah, it came in last night, but there was no firm timescale of when it was going to go. And last time it came in, it never left until it got dark again. And I just couldn't be doing with sitting around waiting for it, to be honest. Yeah. Jack took photos, good enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sure Jack will spam us with plenty of photos of it, won't he?
Probably will do.
Yeah,
probably will do. And he's also given us a little bit more as well, which enters him into the giveaway. So thank you very much. Your name will go onto the board. We'll go with a couple of questions in the chat. One from Gail Leary. He says, ultimately, Matt, if you could work for any airline, which one would you choose?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think kind of aspirationally, I love the look of airlines such as British Airways. I've always had a soft spot for Heathrow, so being based there would be lovely. And I think there's so much opportunity down at BA. You can start on long haul, so you can start on short haul, move on to long haul, then go back to short haul if you want. They've got old aircraft, new aircraft on order as well. So yeah, no, I'd say an airline such as that. But at the end of the day, a job is a job. If you're flying, you're flying. So whoever's hiring, as long as I'm flying, as
long as you're flying, it's all that matters.
Yeah. Definitely.
That first landing into Heathrow, there's going to be so much pressure on the speedbirder down there, mind. Not to make a hash of it.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
I'm sure they've spoken about that already. It's like,
absolutely.
We'll get you. Brilliant. I'll tell you what, there are some questions coming in, so we'll take a pause for ourselves, but we will get some questions here answered. So, Terry, the artist, says, I want to ask Matt, what aircraft does he want to fly ultimately? Or what aircraft would you want to fly, given the choice?
Again, such a hard one because they're all brilliant. They're all so good. I've always had a soft spot for the Airbus. I quite like their philosophy, and I quite like how they kind of work, if that makes sense. They have certain things which I think make a lot more sense. They're very based around the pilot. They seem to have designed everything with the pilot in mind, whereas some of the Boeings, in particular things like the 737, sometimes it looks like they've just kind of got a bag of switches, shaken it around and just chucked it up on the overhead panel and hope for the best. But I love them all. I've had a go in some sims on the 320 and the 73, like those kind of big full motion level D ones. And I love them both as much as each other. They've both got their pros and cons. So.
Yeah, I think we've had like a couple of pilots on previously, and they've always said the transition from a 19 almost all the way up to a 380 is so minimal. Yeah. Like the cockpit layout. Well, obviously there's more thrust levers and like a few other little bits, but compared to stepping from a 757 to 747, they do say it kind of lends itself far easier to transition through the Airbus family compared to the Boeing family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's been part of their philosophy since day one. They've said that they want to keep the training from Airbus to Airbus as minimal as they possibly can, to make it more appealing to airlines as well, so they can spend less on their crew training and whatnot. So, but it definitely works. I mean, if you look at the pictures, like 320 and the 330, the 330 is basically a big A320.
Yeah, no, it's handy when it's, like you say, for cost and all that. It's and training purposes. There's a lot less time on the ground training pilots and
maintenance as well. There's commonality in parts between all the flight decks. It definitely helps out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about a turboprop like a Dash 8 or something like that?
Yeah.
You give that a go as well.
Yeah. That'd be great, especially with airlines like Flybe now back in the air.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
being on the UK license as well, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, you'd have a go at that as well. or Rigny or something like that. What about what's the ones what they fly from Land's End to Scilly Islands?
There's like Islanders and whatnot.
I was a Skybus.
Yeah, if it flies, I'm on it.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you're willing to give anything a go then?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
fantastic. That's the perfect attitude to have. It's actually quite cool.
Yeah, of course it is. Definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful.
You don't want to shut any corridors, that's for sure.
No, definitely not that.
No, absolutely not. Evie Aviation is here. She's also part of the Speedbird team. She says
Hi, Evie.
And obviously approving the repping of the Speedbird shirt there, Matt. So you're doing well.
Yeah.
Brownie points from the team. My old buddy from my childhood, James Story, is in the house. He's watching for the first time. He got in contact with me. He's now watching, so no pressure. He says, Matt, what would your dream? What would your dream plane to fly if you had one in particular that you're like, I would love to just do that for one day?
It's so hard to say. I guess for a kind of things like the 747, I think would be amazing because it's the 747. They're not going to be around for much longer. I think same applies for things like the A380. They're getting type ratings for those nowadays are really, really hard because there aren't that many airlines that still operate them. But if the opportunity was there, that'd probably be the first one I'd take. I'd love that. Something like that. Like a dying breed, something like a 747, just to say that you've done it.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair answer, isn't it?
350s, I love them, but I know that hopefully the opportunity will come at some point. Let's hope.
What about ever, sort of before this era, including military, what would you have loved to have get the chance to fly in?
Concorde. Concorde, 100%.
Yeah.
Military. Yeah. I know pretty much nothing whatsoever about military aviation. I've never gone military spotting. I guess the most into military I've ever had is I've watched Top Gun. That's
poor, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I have no idea where to. The only thing I know is that they're small and fast and they've got fire that comes out the back.
I was just angling towards a red carpet ticket for the second film. That's all that question was about.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to watch it. It's going to be good.
Ian's a big fan of the military stuff. So
I love my military stuff.
I'm sure he'll fill you in eventually with a lot of things.
Yeah, I admire it. I don't know, I've just not been exposed to it, so I don't know anything about it. I need to go to Coningsby or something like that one day, because that looks really cool. You'll have to take me.
I think you do. I mean, you live where do you live? I mean, you live like near London. I think you're in a position where you can get to places like Lake and Heath quite easily, can't you?
Yeah.
And I think if you spent a morning there or a full day there or something like that, I think you'd be converted. I think you'd be signing up for RAF.
We'll see. I just need to look at all the schedules because it sounds like you get like some really busy days and then some days where you'll go.
It's just hit and miss, isn't it, in places like that? Definitely.
Yeah, need to do my homework a bit, see what's going on.
I say Ian knows all about that. Obviously, like having to go to Wharton and things like that. Like you just don't know anything that's going out at the time, do you?
No, not at all. No. I've got Wharton Aerodrome, which is one of the BAC sites. So they obviously build the Typhoons there and they build the Hawks there as well. Yeah, so it's like you say, it's hit and miss. You can spend an entire day there and see nothing. Then you can go back the next day and there's a few hawks flying out or a couple of typhoons or something like that. Fantastic. We even had a couple of F-35s come in a couple of weeks ago, but nobody knew about it.
Wow.
So so that was a massive shame. But we do get some really, really good stuff going in there, and we have done over years as well.
Yeah. The surprise element is completely the opposite to when we're down at Heathrow. I get like emails at 6 o'clock every morning of like all the Google groups of like logs of everything that's doing. It's opposite.
Yeah, it totally is. It's just totally hit and miss. But when you stood like, at Warton, where we stand at Warton to photograph, you stood like, I don't know, 60, 70 meters away from where they spool up if you want. And when you get a couple of typhoons on full reheats, just getting ready to go, your insides are shaking. You've never experienced anything like it. And I remember a few years ago, there were a couple of tornadoes taking off. So these two tornadoes are sat at the end of the runway. I was at work at the time and I'd pulled up for my break behind back of Warton, and I was stood watching these two tornadoes, and they both like run their engines right up before they both did performance takeoffs. And I thought I was going to die, honestly. Everything was just vibrating inside me. I've never experienced anything like it ever with anything. Yeah, it was. I'll never forget. I had it recorded actually, and I don't know what I've done with the recording, but it's an experience I will never forget. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, it is. It's brilliant, but it's like everything. Planes are getting quieter, aren't they now? So
yeah.
So you don't get that buzz anymore, do you?
No,
not at all.
When the old 747s used to go, they were loud as anything, and now the 380s, you hardly hear them.
No, it's same at Warton. They have like a little, it's like a little red and white square. I don't know. They just call it it's like an ice cream van if you want. It sits at the end of the runway. We like the noise with a microphone out of it. Making sure that they're not too loud because of the residents and things like that. And it's just not the same, is it?
No.
We'll move on to a question from Jack Rolls, who will explain the reason why he's asked. But he says, if you had to choose between the TAP Air Portugal or the Ryanair livery, which would you rather see? And which one would you change your battery for? Now, we have a scale here for like plane spotting and that, where Ian gave us the suggestion that if a TAP Air Portugal plane came into Manchester and his battery was low, but he had one picture left to take, he would change his battery for it because he doesn't like the planes or deliveries or anything like that. So we have a scale of like, like a... We've all done it when we've been plane spotting where we've seen like a British Airways 320 or a 319 and gone, don't really need that one sort of thing.
Yeah.
So essentially we say we change the camera battery. So which one out of those two would you see and which one would you change your camera battery for?
Maybe TAP because it's a bit more exotic. That's my
opinion.
Is
that to see or to change your battery for? As in, like, you know, when a plane's coming in, but your thing's dying, and you change your battery, but let it go, sort of thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, so sorry, yeah. So I would save the battery for the TAP and change it when the Ryanair's going past.
Yeah.
Ian's going to sit there and be like, "You're wrong." But
no, well, I'll be quite honest with you. If that was an option, I wouldn't have even bothered getting out of bed. I would have just stayed at home that particular day.
Especially if you're down at Stansted. I mean, you've got plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, TAP Air Portugal. I'd just roll over in bed and put my duvet back over.
To be fair, I've done it pretty much any place I go to. There's always like Stansted, for example, as you know, it's just Ryanair, just full of Ryanairs and stuff. And there's only so many. Like the Maxes are fine. The Maxes you can take plenty of pictures of, but the regular 737s, there's only so many that you can sit there and like video or take. And you think, I kind of want to mix it up a little bit, so I'll let this one go.
Well, that's when I find things like this come in really handy. But I love number crunching.
There you go.
When you're number crunching, even if you have like 50 of the same aircraft type, if they're all new registrations, you're laughing. Tick them all
there you go.
off.
That's what you need, Ian. What you need is a registration book.
Just on that though, what is your this is like a two-parter. Like when you're at Heathrow, your favourite livery to see, and also your favourite retro. It doesn't matter who that belongs to.
Favorite livery to see? Well, when the Blue Expo livery came, the big blue 380 one. It was an Echo Whiskey. We were up at the Hilton Garden Inn, Terminal 2, and we watched that leave. That was amazing. That was a brilliant livery to see. And then retro livery. In service or like in
either or. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'd say it would probably be one of the BA74s. Probably Landor.
Good job.
Probably Landor. So I know that sounds like a bit of a safe option. I think loads of people would say that.
Well, they got it nailed though. It was a great livery.
Yeah,
that Landor.
Yeah, definitely. That I love BEA. I'm a big fan of BEA.
Yeah, that's a fantastic. Yeah, that's a
And,
lovely livery.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of that Aer Lingus one, Delta Victor.
Yeah,
that retro there.
That's nice. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
What about the Qatar 777, the new one?
I haven't seen it in person.
Oh, have you not?
I've not seen it yet.
Have you not?
Yeah,
No.
I've missed it every time.
Yeah, you're right. I'll say that's one of my favourites at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, it does look good.
Definitely. And even the Tap Portugal one as well. I mean, I might not be a fan of the livery what they're using, but the retro's lovely. It really, really is.
Yeah, but I mean, because the thing is with a retro, it's like because they're all so colourful and unique. Even if it's ugly, it's still lovely.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
definitely. It's just a lovely difference. Because nowadays they're all kind of like streamlined and smart and quite mature about their colours. Whereas back then, you'd have like these wacky liveries.
Yeah.
Like Glenn, who's watching, he was showing me all his pictures from like 2005, 2006. And
all
the
the time
colour
to be
schemes
alive.
on the 74s that were coming into Heathrow, they were insane.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not pretty, but they're really cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the retros as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. It's like even with Landor as well. I mean, at once upon a time, it wasn't a retro, was it? It was the standard livery, and once it's gone, you miss it, don't you? And I think that's the same with anything, isn't it? I think even with the Icelander, what they've done now, people got used to the blue and the yellow of the old Icelander, but now they've gone to the Ryanair Icelander if you want. You're thinking, why have they got rid of the old one? And you're going to start missing the old one, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I'm not a huge fan of the new one.
No.
I call it the Ikea livery.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it? Yeah, it's very corporate.
Too basic, too standard. They don't make them like they used to.
No, apart from Condor, they do.
That's not because you've just seen Alison's comment.
Oh, right. No, I haven't seen it, to be quite honest. I had Condor going round in my head, to be quite honest. Yeah.
The Condor one, I don't think it's pretty, but if you put it in the right surroundings, it actually looks all right.
The bin?
No, you know what? I saw there was a picture that someone took. I think it was landing in it was one of the Spanish islands, and it was the gold one, like the kind of yellowy goldy 321, and it actually looked all right. Whereas when I was seeing pictures of the green ones down at like Frankfurt, they just looked really out of place.
Yeah, they look wrong.
Great.
Yeah.
But I think if you put it in the right setting, I think it actually looks not as bad as everyone else says, in my opinion.
So when you go into work, right, Matteo, in morning into Condor, and you go into dispatch office and they throw you a bunch of keys for that green and white one, what's your reaction?
If it flies, I'm on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you managed to catch the
t-shirt coming on with that phrase of "if it flies, I'm on it"? I can smell a t-shirt getting made.
Yeah, do it.
I was going to say, have you managed to catch the better world livery BA yet?
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
got a
beautiful
picture
that.
up on stand. Yeah, I really like that.
It looks stunning.
Yeah, it looks a bit odd in some pictures because it just blends into the sky.
Yeah.
Like when people do their kind of sunset pictures, it looks so nice. I love it. I'm actually due to fly to Glasgow next week, and on the way back, according to the seat map, it says 320N, so I'm assuming a Neo. So fingers crossed.
Oh yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be well good. Have you managed to fly on the retro BA yet? The 319?
No.
No.
No. Yeah, I mean, the only BAs I've ever flown on are just a couple of 320s. It was Yankee, Oscar, November, Delta, and then GAT Romeo from the Gatwick fleet, which was that was an interesting one because they're older than me.
Yeah. They purchased them from the Gatwick fleet. They've got the GAT registration. They're all from Wizz Air, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think some of the one that I was on, GAT Romeo, that was ex-TAM from South America.
Of course, yeah.
But it was like all down the back it was all lovely. It was shiny because this was in 2016, shortly after they did the kind of Euro Traveller short haul retrofit in the cabins. So all down the back was lovely. All these new kind of leather pinnacle seats, all like lovely adjustable headrests and everything. Go up to the front. Steam gauges, CRT screens, dust everywhere. It was really showing its age. Proper old school 320.
Yeah, really nice. I know we were talking about Condor just now, and I think Ken's done one of our little ratings for it, going 5 out of 10. We do like to rate a good livery on this podcast and the channel as well. So we do need to do that at some point as well. We've got to finish off. We've still got a whole bunch of retros to go through, so we'll do that at some point. But yes, there's quite a few comments coming through. But for those that have just joined us, I'll just quickly mention it. Let's say we are running the giveaway, which of course Jack Rolls has entered himself into. If you super chat £5 or more to us, not right super chat, but if you super chat £5 or more to us, you enter our giveaway for some free merch. Also, at the same time, I'm just checking the subs at the same time. We are 10 away from 1,100 subscribers. So if we can hit that at some point tonight, tall order, I think, but a lot of people have subbed. So thank you for those who have. But if you haven't subbed already, please do consider doing that. Well, we'll quickly move on from sort of the whole flying sort of thing, and we'll talk about the sort of writing that you do for, of course, the LHR magazine. How were you involved with that? Like, were you approached to kind of do it, or did you put yourself forward for it?
I reached out to Ken. So it would have been kind of middle of lockdown, and so it all started. So I was fiddling around with that website Wix, like where you can like create your own websites, and I was just typing up a few flight reviews because I had some like pictures of kind of empty cabins from when I was flying, and I thought, I might as well do something with them because they're not really going anywhere. So I started writing them all up, and then I saw Ken put a thing on Facebook, and he was like, I'm making a new magazine based all around London Heathrow, and this being kind of after lockdown had ended, but still during when there were like all these restrictions, I was spending lots of time around Heathrow, so I'd suddenly got this massive soft spot for the airport. So I reached out to Ken, and I was like, Ken, like I haven't got much about Heathrow itself, but I'm writing a load of flight reviews on flights that have left to and from Heathrow. Would you be interested? And he said yes. And so I basically took my the first one I did for him was Finnair on their 350 from Heathrow to Helsinki and back up in business, which was basically taken straight from the thing that I was doing. I tweaked it, I kind of elongated it, made it all look pretty, did all stuff with the pictures. And then I sent it off to him. And then I said, look, I've got another one on an Air France Dreamliner if you want that in the next issue. And he was like, yeah, go on. And then so on and so forth. So I've done mostly flight reviews for the magazine. So kind of just like reviewing kind of different products that the airlines have to offer, whether it's the hard products such as the seats, and then kind of soft products such as service catering and whatever. But as time's gone on, I've tried to go more and more in depth. So I've started doing lots of research on like kind of seat names and different types of seats that they have on board. And then in more recent times, also I've started kind of doing a bit more techie bits and bobs, kind of away from the flight reviews. So I did a kind of technical fact file on the Dreamliner, the 350, and then the latest one, issue 9. I did a piece on Storm Eunice and basically the kind of technologies on the ground and in the aircraft which make landing safe in harsh environments like that. So go and buy it. Show Ken some love.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure Ken will put in the chat where you can buy it from for anyone who doesn't know, and obviously didn't watch last week's episode where we had him and Loopy on the show. They were talking about it and where they can buy it from. So I'm sure he'll do that, and we'll put it on the screen when he does. There you go. Nothing like a bit of a plug, bit of plugging would be fine. But yeah, so obviously, I mean, it's obviously something you quite enjoy then, going through the whole sort of filling people in with like the knowledge of how certain things work, even if people sort of get an idea for what it's about already.
Yeah. So it's just what I enjoy doing. It's just a nice way to get it out, and even it was actually really handy because we had a radio navigation exam a few weeks ago. And in that are a lot of things on ILS, the Airborne Weather Radar, which was stuff that I wrote about in the last article. And it was like a win-win. Your reading pleasure and my revision. Win-win for everyone. But I mean, I've really enjoyed it. It's been great getting it all out there. And it's been nice seeing it grow as well, and also getting to know Ken, because as I said, Ken's a legend. So. It's great. Really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
I suppose through the research, you've kind of built up a little bit of an understanding of people you'd want to fly with and not fly with, then on basis on what kind of things they're offering and that.
Yeah, well, I mean, job's a job. Whoever's hiring, flies up on it.
No nonsense. I like it.
Not fussy, are you?
No. And it's the first job is the hardest one to get. Especially with the course that we're doing, we get a frozen ATPL, so it's your airline transport pilot's license, but with no real hours on it. So as far as the airlines are concerned, they're taking complete newbies who haven't really flown much. Obviously, we've done all our type ratings, we've done all the stuff in the sim, we've done all our kind of foundation and our advanced flying on the prop. So all the hours are there, but on the type that the airlines are flying, we haven't flown the real thing. So the first job is always the hardest one to get. When you start racking up hours, they're then invaluable. And then that's when you can start branching out, seeing who's doing what, who's offering what, who's flying what, and then you can start to think more long term.
I was going to ask, it's probably a silly question, to be honest, because you keep saying if it flies, I'll fly it. But if obviously for your first job, with the amount of cargo now that's being shipped around on planes, and particularly there's a lot on passenger planes as well, isn't there? Would you just go straight into cargo and start flying a cargo plane? Yeah,
I'd definitely look into cargo.
Fly out.
I was hanging out with a good friend of mine. He was British Airways, and he was flying the 747s until they sadly got axed from the fleet. And he was so gutted because he had his last 747 flight without knowing it. And
I can imagine.
I think the last leg that he flew was actually Landor as well. Or one of his last flights was on Landor, and he basically said, like, I need one last flight on the 747. So he went over to Cargo Logic and decided to fly cargo for a bit. And I mean, the stories he was telling me, it sounds brilliant. It sounds so chilled out. You fly a big aeroplane, and you've got no one to look after. So it's just you, and all the other pilots on board. You've got the galley down the back. Make your own teas and coffees. Walk around. Do what you want. It sounds really good, and it sounds like you go to some pretty interesting places as well, especially like cargo hubs such as like Anchorage or places like that. Like airlines don't typically fly there, so lots of opportunity. In terms of like long term, I think I'd probably rather fly the passenger stuff, but I'd definitely cargo. 100%. I'd love to do it at some point.
Yeah, you'd like to give it a go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're not just not fussy at all, are you?
No.
You'll have a go at anything.
If it flies, he's on it.
If it flies, you're on it.
Yeah.
But what about sorry, Steve, I was going to say, what about flying? We have a company called JMax up at Blackpool Airport, who's like an air taxi, and they have they have a couple of big private jets anyway. But would you like to try flying something like that, flying Rich and Famous about?
Yeah.
Would you do that as well?
Yeah. I was, in fact, yesterday at Heathrow, a BizJet pilot was with us, and she was she was showing us all her stuff that she gets up to, both in simulators and on the real airplanes, and they look so cool. I didn't realize how how futuristic they are. If you look at some of the flight decks of all these Gulfstreams, like the G650s and the G700s, like they're all massive screens, they're all touch screen. Something that Airbus only very recently bought in, the whole touch screen technology on their 350s.
Yeah,
they're so cool, and they can go up to like 51,000 feet. They can go really high. So yeah, I'd love to look into it, especially when jobs are. When I'm like looking around, seeing what's going on,
that's 100%. It. I mean, they are built for the rich and famous, aren't they? Like your Airbuses and your Boeings are just built for the cattle class people, aren't they? To be quite honest, so
Well, I'll have to give you my card. I'm looking for a new private pilot. My one's given up on me, so if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Is that for Beerwood taxis?
Yeah. You'd have to be based in Bournemouth, I'm afraid, though.
Not too far. All right.
It don't matter where he's based, because if it flies, he's on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly. Talking of flying, you were mentioning about flight reviews earlier. Of course, you have your own YouTube channel, which you obviously have done streams and things like that on, and you've also done, like I say, the flight reviews and stuff. I've checked them out personally. I think they're pretty good. So
Thank you.
All props to you.
Thank you.
Now, I know this is probably something that's a little bit maybe a bit raw still to you, but obviously during, I think, before a month or so before the 380s came back into service, they were doing short runs to Frankfurt and Madrid. You were booked on one.
Yes, I was,
but unfortunately didn't manage to get on it.
No. Equipment change.
Apart from obviously a change of plane and stuff. Was it just purely because of the fact that not a lot of people were on it? Do you know, or is it just sprung upon you?
So from the 8th of November to the 2nd of December, BA announced that they were using the 380 to Madrid and Frankfurt for kind of crew refamiliarization, because they'd been out of storage, or had been in storage for well over a year. They just needed to get the crews on them, and by doing the short sectors, they could train them up well. So I jumped on the website in a heartbeat, saw the two routes. I chose Madrid because it was about 20 minutes longer than Frankfurt. So I thought more time on the aircraft, the better. And booked it. BA 456, because it was early in the morning on a Saturday. All the other days it was in the evening, but on the Saturday it was an early morning flight. Booked it, seat 27K, all good to go. The upper deck was locked, so they sold all the 380 flights at A320 capacity.
Okay.
Just in case something were to happen. So during the flight, you were able to go to the upper deck. It was all empty. It was picture galore. I was originally going to go with the Speedbird TV lot. They were going to I was going to join them on their group trip, but I had some exams coming up, so I had to do it about 2 weeks earlier. But hey ho. So I was checking in, and then I got a notification from BA saying that my seat had been changed from 27K to 22F. And I was like, okay, right, that's no good. Check the seat map, and it was a 3-3 thing, and I was like, oh no. Right, okay. So I called up my good friend Zul. Shout out to Zul if you're watching. And I called him up, and I was like, Zul, the BA 456, has it changed? Please tell me it hasn't. And this is like a glitch in the BA app, because I know sometimes they have their IT problems. And he was like, I'm really sorry, but it's now Yankee Delta, one of the three. So I was like, oh, bugger, okay. And I noticed the seat map change after I checked in, so I couldn't reschedule it for free. I was stuck with the flight, so I was like, right, okay. I was gutted, but it was going to be my first flight in 699 days. So I was like, I'm just going to go for it. Like, I am flying for the first time in absolutely ages, and we were still due the Iberia 350 on the way back. So I thought, at least we'll get a wide body in somewhere during the trip. But yeah, despite the change, it was still such a good flight. I decided to book a cheeky upgrade at the check-in desk.
Why not?
Up Club Europe, I just thought, why not? Might as well make the most of it. because I was writing for Ken's magazine as well. So I was like, oh, we'll make him something interesting. So we'll upgrade to business. And yeah, honestly, the crew are so good. So the reason was they need, I think it's the 380 requires a minimum of 18 cabin crew because the amount of crew, it's done by the amount of seats on board, not by the passengers booked. So even if there was one passenger on the flight, you'd still need the full 18 cabin crew. But there were only 13 available. So they weren't able to basically use the 380. So they had to downgrade it to a 320. But they were so good about it. During Climb Out, they made an announcement and they were like, firstly, let's clear the elephants in the room. We're so sorry that you're not on your 380. However, we're all A380 trained. We're going to be hanging out in the galleys. So if you want to come and say hi to us, feel free. We've been talking 380 all day long. We've been flying it all week. So
I did the 380 trip to Frankfurt during that time.
Did you? How'd you find it?
Massively overrated, terrible.
Why?
No, I'm just saying it to make you feel better. It was the best
thing
I've ever done.
Did you actually fly it or no?
Yeah, no, I flew to Frankfurt and back.
Nice. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I left at 6:30 in the morning and I arrived back at Heathrow at 12:15 the same afternoon. I only spent an hour in Frankfurt.
How did you manage to turn around that quick? Just run out, run back?
No, I was classed as domestic because I never physically landed. So I just went through and just went straight back to the gate I'd left from. So I never went through a passport control.
Oh, that's handy. Oh, that's really.
Well, Ian would tell you I was faffing massively about that because I'd never have had enough time if I'd had to go through a passport.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, you were flapping, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, people on our flight, they had to go out of Madrid and back in because I don't think they had the same service there. But they had it was a 1 hour and 25-minute turnaround at Madrid because it was meant to be an A380. They gave it 1 hour and 25 minutes, and I think they all made it back in time. But yeah, no, that sounds manic. I couldn't deal with that.
No, literally 10 minutes after getting off the aircraft, I was back on the gate.
Yeah, oh, that's brilliant. That's so good.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I'm sorry you missed it.
It's fine. I mean, I've been lucky enough to have already gone on 4 380s on Emirates and Air France. In fact, the Air France one was from Heathrow to Paris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in 2010.
That's when they were doing crew training, wasn't it? Crew training for 380 when Air France actually got them. Managed to see a few of the 380s from Air France go into Heathrow, so that was quite that was cool at the time.
That's in Ken's magazine in one of the issues.
Makes up for the fact that you can go on that one, but I believe they are still running, aren't they? They're still running 380 flights on to Frankfurt. I believe it's cargo only.
Yes, it's not bookable. Yeah. Don't worry, I've looked.
Yeah, just thinking. That's all. Just thinking ahead.
Yeah, no. It's not bookable. I think I was talking to one of the guys, and I think they said something along the lines of they're doing cargo only because it was only the 380s that were free for the route, and if they ended up putting passengers on it, they'd need the 18 cabin crew, which they don't have. They just don't have. Yeah. So they figured that they could save more by just doing cargo only and not making it a revenue service, a bookable service for passengers.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, apart from that, obviously you have done some other flight reviews. And you did the Iberia 350 on the way. Was it on the way back? You said on the same one.
Yes, I was on the way back from Madrid. Yeah.
I was quite surprised because obviously I watched it. And I was thinking, 350 Iberia, Spain's biggest airline, sort of thing, and it wasn't all that it was sort of lived up to, was it? You weren't a massive fan of it.
I need to be
careful. Yeah.
They did everything right, but I felt that they didn't go above and beyond the way that I'm used to on airlines such as EasyJet or British Airways.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
I think we'll leave it at that. I think just in case we go any sort of like further, but I think that's the best way of putting it. I think.
Yeah, but the aircraft was lovely. The crew were friendly. They were professional. They were really efficient. And aircraft was clean. We left a little bit late, but we made up quite a lot of time. So yeah, I mean, what I left in the review is I said, if you can fly with an airline like British Airways, I would possibly maybe recommend that. But if you can't, there's nothing wrong with the carrier whatsoever. And if you're a UK av geek looking for a wide body on a short haul trip, it's perfect. They use the 350s and the 330s, the 200s and the 300s.
Yeah.
So they actually have some really cool services that you can get yourself on, and you can all book it. You can book it through as a British Airways ticket, and the BA app is superb.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, then, obviously Iberia and that, did you manage to jump on the 340s when they were there?
No.
No. I wish I had done that. I wish I'd managed to jump on them, knowing that obviously they weren't going to be sticking around for much longer. Obviously, it's quite rare to see like a wide body of that kind on a short route and that. So you get used to it, and then you sort of take it for granted, because then you don't realise that actually you could probably jump on it for a really good sort of fee and have that experience. And I think probably the whole sort of pandemic has opened up a lot of people's eyes to kind of go, right, well, if a wide body's on a short haul route, I'm going to make sure I get on it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I tried to do the same in March. I booked BA to Madrid on the Dreamliner, because they were using the Dreamliner that month.
Yeah.
On the BA 458 in the kind of like mid-morning. It was due to be a 787 there and an A330-200 on the way back. But I got COVID. So I couldn't go either. So yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Evie, if you watch it, she always says to remind her to never travel with me.
Yeah.
Now, you've had some bad luck, haven't you?
Sorry?
You've had some bad luck.
Well, I mean, the last two flights I have, and then because it turned out the flight back, they actually had an equipment change as well, from a 330-200 to a 350. But the 350 was ECNLP, and it was its first revenue service.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So,
yes.
But
So you're getting the train to Glasgow this week then?
No, I'm flying up.
Are you sure?
Hopefully, fingers
three
crossed.
times weekly service, and all three of them got cancelled last week. But today's one went ahead, so hopefully that's a good sign for me.
Well, I can't vouch. It takes a while to get from Scotland back home on the train. I found that out the hard way back in January. So,
what happened?
I might have missed my flight.
No.
Why did you miss your flight, Steve?
Yeah. Why did you miss your flight? Do tell us what happened.
Well, there might have been beer involved.
Time flies when you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, well, the night before, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is it something you've looked into, Matt, seriously, doing like flight reviews and things like that, going down like the Noel Phillips and the Sam Chui sort of route?
I was kind of hoping to until COVID came.
Right.
I'd absolutely love to do that. Like I love reviewing airlines, whether it's
I bet you do.
Filming them, whatever. Like even seat maps. Like, sorry, I know this is going to sound so strange, but I could just stare at seat maps for hours on end.
Yeah, you are a bit geeky, aren't you?
I am a bit geeky.
In a good way, obviously.
Yeah, like there's a website. It's actually quite a new website. I hope you don't mind me saying, Aerolopa. And oh my god, go and check them out. They've got like some of the most detailed seat maps I've ever seen. Like they've even labelled where the windows are on the side of the fuselage. So when you're choosing your seat, you can work out where the windows are going to be aligned. And then if you go to the BA fleet, they've got all the historic fleet as well. So they've got all like the 747-200s. They've got the 747-400s, like but back from kind of early 2000s.
Wow.
It's and I could just stare at them all day long.
Yeah,
I love it. But yeah, no, I'd love to go down the flight review thing, but obviously, like now with studying, and also because I'm only 20 years old. I'm still a baby, and back then, kind of pre-COVID, I was young, so it was all very expensive as well. But yeah, if I can get into it properly, I'd definitely love to. I'll be doing full reviews of the flights next week for sure.
Well, that'd be awesome to see.
Yeah, let's look out for them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm going to try and do something because it's BA economy, so it's not the most exciting thing in the world. So what I think I'm going to do is I might try and do a kind of side by side comparison to the Club Europe flight to Madrid.
Yeah.
Compare the differences. And
That'd be
being a
pretty cool.
shuttle service, maybe kind of delve into the history of the super shuttle back in the
Yeah.
day with BA,
Yeah.
see what's going on with that.
Have you never tried being part of SDTV? Tried tapping an airline up to do sort of like airclips.com videos, them type of things with the GoPros and the cockpit and things like that. Have you never tried tapping any airline up to do something like that?
Well, I haven't really been in the team long enough, I don't think, to kind of have the opportunity. That sort of stuff. Ask Chris and Glenn next week.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure they'll have all the answers for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when like on the way to Madrid, I mentioned Speedbird TV. They all knew it. They were really
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'll definitely rep them next week for sure. And say hello to all the crew. It's on BA. They're so nice all the time.
Well, will you have your polo shirt on when you're on the flight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think you need to, don't you? I think you have to.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
I won't do any of that, but for the photos as well, get some nice pictures on board, especially when the cabin's empty. They were actually really nice on the way back from Madrid. I went to the gate agents and I was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm kind of documenting the flight for a magazine. Do you mind, even though I'm in economy, do you mind if I board with business class so I can be like the first on in economy? And they let me. So I was there like roaming around a free A350 cabin, just snapping all these photos whilst there was no one in there.
Don't really, ask, really you nice. Don't get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So I might try and do that again. See what happens. But
have you ever had like I mean, obviously you know an aircraft inside out and you've got all this knowledge and stuff like that. Have you ever sat on a plane, you've heard a squeak or a knock or something like that and thought, this doesn't sound quite right?
No. And if I do, I then find out why it's happened to then find that it's actually.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that has happened, which I didn't actually ask the flight crew because I just thought it wouldn't be appropriate. But they shut down the engines and everyone got up, and the aircraft started rolling forward, and then he like hit the brakes and everyone kind of like tumbled over. But yeah, so I did reach out to a couple of people, and they said, it could have been either maybe like the chocks just weren't in, so we could have like rolled into the chocks or something. But still not sure. It was all right. Yeah, everyone safe. And
that's main
thing.
All
good.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as they only shut the engines down on ground and not shut. As long as they don't shut the engines down at 35,000 feet, you're all right, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, we were all on stand safely. So, but I mean, I've generally been quite lucky with flights. They've all been safe. All the crew have generally been really nice. So, yeah.
No, that's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
What's been your favourite aircraft to be a passenger on so far?
Oh, the 380. When you fly on a 380, everything else is rubbish.
Yeah,
I think
Steve, you can vouch for that, I'm sure.
Well, I went from a 380 to a EasyJet 319, and it was a bit of a culture shock. Yeah, I have to admit.
I mean, when I 100% agree. Even when I did the Emirates 380 to the Emirates 777, that was bad enough as well. So much louder.
Oh yeah,
that got me. It wasn't even the size; it was the noise. It's just so loud compared to the 380.
Everything about the 380 is so smooth. It's ridiculous. From the takeoff to the landing, you almost don't know that things are happening. It's that incredible.
Yeah, it actually messes around with your senses. Especially when you're climbing out, and it like the noise climbing out of Heathrow on the 380 was the same noise level as having like the air conditioning on high on an A320 with the engine switched off.
Yeah, coming out of Frankfurt was pretty cool because my seat was actually backwards facing, so I was looking at the engines and that as it came out of the.
Showing off there, were you in Club World?
It might have been cheap when I booked it. Don't worry about that.
Nice.
Stop rubbing it in, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's all good. He's been on more 380s than me, so he have his moment.
I went from business class on 380 down to an A319 cattle class.
That's why I couldn't fly back on it. It just felt a bit below me, to be honest.
Oh dear.
Deary me. how it gets to people, honestly.
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll put you on the spot, Matteo. So in terms of like the flights that you've either been on or reviewed, which one's been your favourite?
Emirates are up there. Emirates it's a bit harder because I flew them in 2016. So I'm sure they've changed a lot since then. So it's probably quite an outdated view. But Emirates, they did everything right. I mean, everything from a comfortable seat to having literally Polaroid cameras with cabin crew with like messages that they would leave you. Everything. Oh, wow. They were incredible, Emirates. And the 380s themselves were just insane, as we've discussed. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to fly them again. I'd fly them in a heartbeat. In terms of the newest reviews, I quite enjoyed that BA flight to Madrid in Club Europe. That was quite nice. But Finnair, I think Finnair is probably where it's at on their 350. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Finnair, I think they're just quite underrated. Like no one seems to give them much attention. Now it's a bit more because they've got their new business class seat out, which has had quite a few influential people review it. But like back when I flew them in, what was it, 2018? They were just another kind of European airline, but they did everything right from start to finish. Comfy seat, crew were amazing, catering was lovely. Couldn't fault them. And Helsinki was a lovely city, a lovely hub they've got.
Yeah.
So Finnair's up there for sure.
Very underrated, I think, Finnair. They're the ones that like sort of go about their business very quietly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say the same kind of thing about them. Yeah.
Do you know how many flights you've taken since you started doing these sort of videos and reviews and that?
I'm not sure about an exact number because sometimes I don't review all of them because so we've got some family out in Sicily. And like I might fly to Sicily once or twice a year, and the flight is exactly the same, so I just won't bother with it. I'm not sure how to put a number, but yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to like get about a fair bit, see some family and friends around, and fly. Every flight's a good one. Like I get quite angry when I see business people who like fly every week, and they're taking it all for granted. It kind of. I'm like, I always make the most of everyone.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant. A question from Transatlantic Alison asking if you've been on Thai. Be interesting to know that she's flying on them next month.
I've not flown with Thai, no. The closest I've done was Vietnam Airlines, though. That was good fun. That was a A330 200s domestically around Vietnam. But I'm not sure. I've heard they're all right, but I'm not sure. I'm sure online you can find loads of reviews, so I'm not sure, I'm afraid. But I'm sure they're good. Generally,
I've heard good things about Thai.
The further east you go, the better the airlines get. That's kind of generally
the consensus.
So
it's worth bearing in mind.
Yeah, wonderful. I suppose we could go on to maybe what the worst one is, whether you've reviewed it or not.
I don't know. I mean,
bearing in mind you might be working for them.
No, I mean, I've been quite lucky, to be honest, with airlines. As I've said, I just try and make the most out of all of them. I'm lucky in that I haven't really had many yet, touch wood, like cancellations or been kind of mucked about by airlines or anything. And like the crew, like they've always been nice. I've kind of learnt my little tricks to not annoy them, like especially with like flight deck visits. Like kind of I learned if you try and ask them during cruise, then they're expecting you when you deboard, as opposed to catching them by surprise, and then they seem to kind of get a bit,
that was
confused. Yeah, no, I've generally been quite lucky.
That was a regret of that 380 flight. I was offered a chance to go up to the flight deck when we landed in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
But because I was slightly panicked about making it back, I declined it. And then when we got to Heathrow, the change of captain, he didn't want anyone in when we landed. So I missed the opportunity, which was, unfortunate. but
Oh, that's really
you live and
annoying.
learn.
Yeah. I'm
That's
sure
what
you'll
you get
get
for
on
rubbing
another
it
one
in.
soon.
Well,
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
due to keep theirs until like 2034. I think BA are quite similar. So,
yeah.
yeah.
that's fine. MacJet TV Live says, "Have you flown with Virgin Atlantic?"
I did in 2005, so I can't really remember much, sadly.
Do you remember any of it?
All I remember was watching some Disney films on it. That's all I remember. Although I do have a photo that I think one of the family took. It's me and my grandma. We're going down the travelator at San Fran, and outside the big glass window was our aircraft, and it was a GV Big,
Oh yeah.
one of the 747s. But yeah,
747, yeah.
I don't remember much of it. But my auntie who lived in San Francisco, that was her airline of choice to come to and from. So they were obviously doing something right back then. And even now, they seem to be.
Yeah, it seems to be sort of back on the up again after a little bit of a blip, sort of last couple of years. Now they seem to be sort of, like I say, back on their feet and stuff. And it's an airline that I kind of want to fly with as well. So I'm sure I'll make it happen at some point. But it's good to know. Very interesting comment from Vision International saying, "My dad worked in Russia about 20 years ago. Had to go to Siberia. In-flight meal was an apple."
Oh my God! Wow. I mean, it's better than the low-cost carriers now.
Yeah,
true enough.
Yeah.
Bottle of water, and I think that's about it. And then some crackers to wash down with or something.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful.
Virgin Atlantic, just quickly, they've always been really fair with the way they've bought their aircrafts, haven't they? They've always had like the 747s and the 340s, and this era they've got the Dreamliners and the 350s and the 330. But they've always sort of spread between Boeing and Airbus fairly sort of fair, haven't they? Rather than have a single supplier, which is quite impressive in a sense.
It's quite unusual, I think.
Yeah,
I'd say it's quite unusual because you'd think they'd want to stick with one to keep the maintenance costs down, but they're obviously friendly with them both.
Absolutely.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
I
great
know
for
at some
pilots
point.
if you want to change type.
Yeah, I know. At some point, they're supposed to operate. I think like one of the youngest fleets in the industry. I think once
Who are they?
the 330 Neos, I think that they've ordered come into service. They will start retiring some of the older planes, and then they actually will own like one of the youngest fleets out there.
I mean,
But
the
the
200s,
330s, Dreamliners, and everything
200s
else
are gone. They are gone now, the 200s. I think the last one's at Heathrow doing its last bits of maintenance before they ship it out to wherever. And then I think the average age of the 330-300 is about 10 years. And then the Dreamliners and the 350s and the 330s, that's just going to shrink down the average age massively, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's good. Good news for Virgin.
Transatlantic Alison reiterating my point of obviously when they get the Neos, of course she flies with the Virgin Atlantic the 330s. So
brilliant!
She knows the ins and outs and stuff. So
lovely,
very good. Former guest on the show, and I like to say friend of the show as well. But So what they will eventually run one of the youngest fleets, I think, in the world. I think once the 330 Neos come in,
fly safe.
Which would be interesting. Which would be very, very interesting indeed. Just going to try and run through a couple of comments here that I think it's just been going literally all evening. So I'm just trying to see if we've missed any comments here. Do talk amongst yourselves.
I was just going to say, I love the fact you can fly from Heathrow on a Dreamliner and then pick your flight so you can get to come back on a 350 with Virgin. I'd 100% be doing that if I had the means to be going to New York anytime soon, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, New York, they use a mixture of all of them, don't they? So that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I said previously, it saddens me that BA use 777s for the New York route. They should be using 350s because it's meant to be the flagship route, and I think they should be using flag route planes.
I think they don't use the 350s because they haven't kitted out first class in them.
Is that so?
Yeah, so I think they've got 56 of the Club World suites, and then premium economy and economy down the back. Whereas the 777s that they use, they've got those kind of small 8 first class.
Yeah.
Like the kind of 8-seat first class cabin, and then the retrofit club suites behind it. So
that would make sense then.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's possibly why. But yeah, because I was talking to one of the guys at Dunsfold. So he's been working with he's not working with BA anymore, but was working with BA from 1971 until 2019.
Wow.
And he said that apparently the 350s were originally meant to have first class fitted, like the small kind of 8-seat first class cabin. But then they stopped putting first in and they changed the order to make it just business. But they apparently didn't modify the galleys enough to be equipped for those 56 seats. So it said that getting to know how to use the 350s galleys was a real challenge because they felt like they just couldn't get the food out quick enough to serve everyone.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so yeah, that was.
There you go, Steve. There's your answer.
Yeah, well, there you go. Every day's a school day.
It is even on a bank holiday.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously, you're not the only one, Steve, that obviously goes about the whole sort of why BA don't use the 350s and they only use the 777s on New York, because Glenn is also in the same boat, saying, "Don't get me started on the 777s to New York."
Yeah, we'll let him talk about that next week. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm intrigued by that now. Very.
It's an interesting one he's got there. So
we'll save that for next week. I think we'll save that for
definitely.
next week.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's just have a look here at some other. So Jake, I know, has been commenting as well. He says, "I've looked at Finnair from Manchester out to Bangkok, so I can go on 350. Great value and connections too." Which I imagine goes with sort of what we were talking about earlier with Finnair, and that obviously going about their business quite quietly. Were Finnair sort of reasonably priced for what you had?
Yeah. So I didn't use any points or anything. So the business class ticket return was, I think, about £650 there and back in business. BA were charging £900 for the Club Europe on the 320. Whereas Finnair was the 350.
That's a big difference, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. So that was partly why I just went for it. I kind of had a bit of a sod it moment. Just come on.
Have you flown business class often, or
no? No? Honestly, that Finnair and the Madrid last minute upgrade. Yeah. All the rest down the back.
Just sat in back with we all commoners.
Commoners.
Yeah, exactly.
As Steve would call them.
Yeah.
Peasants, yeah.
Oh, peasants, yeah.
My flute of champagne.
While everyone else is sipping on fruit shoots.
Yeah. No, most of it's they're pretty much all down in economy, which I think is often quite good. Because you can get quite a good idea of what an airline is like down in the
That's it. You get a true reflection of everything, don't you, when you sat with everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, and some of these first class suites and what have you, just absolutely out of this world, aren't they? To be quite honest. Yeah.
The Emirates one, yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Steve?
As I said, particularly the Emirates first class is like bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and I mean, like the Etihad residence and the Singapore suites as well. Yeah. I can't wait to see the residents back in service. I think I reckon that Etihad will bring their 380s back. So.
Yeah, so I think Steve would probably call it the cattle class as well, as Jake's called it. Only ever been in cattle.
Yeah.
So cattle class, there you go.
It's not all fun and games in business. You get a sore finger and thumb by going like that. Champagne.
and then the hangover the next day.
Yeah.
To when you miss your flight.
I couldn't face going back on EasyJet. Like I said earlier on, it was beneath me. I had to get the train.
How disgusting.
Yeah.
Common people.
Commoners. Cattle. Oh dear, honestly. So as a lasting thing, what is sort of next for Matteo? What's next going forward for you in terms of YouTube channel and just you in general, of course, with your obviously your lessons out in America and that?
It's very hard to say, to be honest. You'll have to ask me again when I'm in the States, I think, because
I'll pop you a message.
Yeah, because I mean, I I have no idea what it's going to be like out there because my lot going out, we're some of the first lot, so we don't know anyone out there to tell us what it's like. In terms of like all the kind of YouTube stuff, I've always kept it as a hobby. Being a full-time student, you can only do as much as you can do with it.
Of course.
But in terms of Speedbird TV, I will be there for them even when I'm there. I'm hoping to maybe get down to Miami at some point, see if I can do a couple of bits and bobs for them from there. Especially with the time difference, it'll work out perfect. Like on a Friday night, I go to Miami during the day and then cut to Chris in London City in the evening.
It's fantastic, wasn't it?
It'd be awesome.
I just need to see what it's like because I'm only going to have my phone out there. I'm not going to have any of the snazzy.
No.
So I just need to see what happens. I'm hoping to maybe go down to things like the Delta Museum in Atlanta. So I'll definitely try and make a few bits on that, like with some video and photos and whatnot. Put some stuff together for both channels, pretty much.
Yeah, just don't go live from there, will you?
Yeah, I watched off a video on the Delta Museum the other week from somebody.
Yeah, but it looks like a really good museum, and I'd really like to go there.
Some good stuff there. Some very good stuff there.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, the main focus is the flying and the CPL. So
absolutely, yeah. Look after yourself first. Can I ask you about the cars? What are in the background? They've been catching my eye all night.
Oh yeah, they're just that's just some of my models over there. So that you got the cars over there, and then you got the aircraft over there.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
You like your cars as well, then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as car crazy as I am about the planes, but yeah, quite like.
Yeah.
I like my transports in general. I like my trains as well. I don't know much about them, but yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about your Italian heritage. Is that where the car love comes from?
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much born and bred as English, and then just my roots go back to Italy and Sicily.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some family out there. We go down there every now and again. We haven't been for a while because of COVID, but before it was an annual trip to see the family down there before, which was great.
Yeah, but
all flights. Flying into Catania is always good fun. Sit on the left-hand side, you're basically circling around Mount Etna.
Oh, all right.
Wow. Yeah, so that's always a great view.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, fantastic.
Excellent.
EasyJet always do a nice service down there. So
yeah, lovely job. Right, we'll go through some of the last comments that we have here. So in regards to what we were talking about with Steve, obviously drinking too much and missing his flight, Gail Leary says you can get hungover on Emirates in cattle class. Obviously experience.
That's it.
One on the ground's worth two in the sky, just so you remember. Well, the other way around, sorry.
Yeah. Visions International saying Matteo is going to become a pilot and a social media star, as most pilots seem to do. Seems to be like the next best thing now is to go be a pilot if you want to get noticed, I think, at the moment. So, you never know.
Should never do it for the uniform. Do it for the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. Jack Rolls is asking, are you he asks random questions, he really does. Are you a fan of Frontier Airlines? They've got some beautiful liveries on them. I'm desperate to catch one.
I will do my very best to fly them when I'm out there. I found they can take you to Miami from Orlando for like $40 return. So
wow.
Oh, nice.
If I can hop on it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Spirit, I'd love to try them all. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, because of your Italian heritage, Visions International going, Mafia Matteo.
No.
I was thinking that when he said Sicily, but I refrained from it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of horses' heads and things like that, but
Godfather.
Just keep me gob shut.
Yeah, Scarface and all that.
Yeah, Ken was worried that if he makes me angry there, that I'll do stuff to him. Don't worry, Ken. You're safe. You're safe.
Oh, dear.
I do drive an Italian car, but it's not one Italy are going to be particularly proud of in the state it's in these days, to be honest.
What is it?
Well, it's an Alpha, but it's rusted through now, so it's on its last legs.
No.
Yeah.
Right. I love a good Alpha. Yeah, that's the classic with Italian cars. Look pretty, but don't work.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like the ex-missus.
And she's watching tonight.
Yeah.
A couple more, and we'll start to wrap the show up. So MaxJet TV Live says, when are you going to go to Dubai, Matteo?
I've got no plans to go there. Got
No plans.
to go there.
Right.
Would like to. Would like to go back, but yeah, nothing planned.
Good stuff. Darren Smith says, Matt, what will Chris do for his information when you're not there on a Saturday?
Chris is a legend. He's brilliant behind the camera, so he's going to be great. He's going to be great. And but I am going to seriously miss streaming with him. I really am. Like I've really enjoyed it, because I was telling you guys the other day before I came on that I was doing a couple of live streams here and there on my channel, just on my phone. So I was kind of focusing a lot more on the talking, because the camera work was never that brilliant. So when I finally joined Chris, having him and his character behind the camera being as engaging as he is, with his brilliant tech and brilliant camera work, and then I felt like I could join him, and I felt like we worked quite well together. Glenn calls us the Chuckle Brothers.
Well, we're going to get some stories on that next week.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you have to talk to Glenn about that one. I don't really know where it comes from, but yeah, no, it's been great, and Chris is going to carry on doing the amazing job he does. I know that for a fact.
Absolutely, yeah, he does a wonderful job with the enthusiasm and that, with obviously the love of aviation.
Oh yeah, no, he loves
it
it.
Definitely gets portrayed over the streams and that. So
I mean,
Yeah,
we say
definitely,
to him, like, do you even sleep? Like he finishes City at like 8:30, and he says, oh, I need to get home, I need to unwind. I'm probably not going to get home, and I'm probably not going to get to sleep until about 1:00 in the morning. And then the following morning at 7 a.m. we get a notification he's live at Heathrow. We're like, do you sleep?
The notification from actually yesterday morning was what actually woke me up. That's why I was on the stream. That's why I was commenting. I thought, who the hell was doing that?
Yeah.
I was just like, right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, he's a legend, and yeah, I'm gonna miss him for sure.
Good stuff. Just bear with me 2 seconds. We've got
no problem.
A little bit of
There's a question from Transatlantic Alison in there again. Who are you flying with to Orlando?
We're not sure yet. I got quite bored at one point, so I made an entire schedule of all the flights that leave Heathrow, Gatwick, and Manchester, just so I could have it all handy if they were to give me the option. We've been told that apparently we're going to be given the option of Heathrow or Manchester, and not Gatwick. So that basically narrows it down to a BA 777 or Virgin and their 350s, because I'm not going to go I'm not going to do Manchester, because that's way too far. So yeah, BA or Virgin. So Alison, who knows? We might be on the same flight.
You could very well be on the same flight. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you could very well.
Booked. We're just waiting for all the paperwork, and then when all that's done, it'll all be booked.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine. Just got a little bit of spam there, so I just have to edit that out. So that's fine. Right, so Jack Rolls' last comment, and then we'll start wrapping it up. He says, "Matt, I did follow you on Instagram. Keep up the amazing content. Speedboat TV are lucky to have you."
Oh, thank you very much, Jack. Really appreciate that. That's a nice comment. That. Thank you.
Good stuff. And of course, Alison there saying, "We'll say hi if you do."
Yeah, we'll do, Alison. Look forward to it.
Alison's lovely. Yeah, she does a lot for the industry, so definitely worth saying hello to her.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. Right, wonderful stuff. So we're going to begin to wrap the show up now. But before we do, we're going to jump into our regular segment, which is, of course, doing some shout-outs. Now, as I'll quickly mention, there is still time to enter if you want to enter the... I wish you did. Paid Tom to say that. I'm still waiting for the check to go through. But yes, if you still want to enter the giveaway, you can if you want to super chat £5 or more. Otherwise, Jack Rolls will be getting them free merch, and I don't want to give it to him. But so if you want to enter that, you can. There's still time to do that before we end. However, we are going to do some shout outs. So, Matteo, we're going to put you on the spot and get you to do some shout outs to whoever you like. And if anyone in the comments or in the chat who's still watching has any shout outs for anybody, put them into the chat. We'll show them as we do ours. So, Matthew, take it away.
This is limitless, isn't it?
Literally limitless, as many
Right.
people as you like.
So, first of all the Speedbird TV lot. So that's Chris, Glenn, Jace, Tom, Sophie, Evie, Zul. Who else? There's more.
Don't
Dave
forget
Chris Billingham. Big shout out to all of you. You're all legends. Also, big shout out to Ken and Sarah over from Visions. Thank you for all your great work. And everyone down at all the regulars who are down at Heathrow, all my friends down there. I always say when you go to Heathrow as much as you do it, then it becomes more about the people in the plane sometimes. It's basically like a kind of bit of a social getaway. So massive shout out to everyone down at Heathrow. Massive shout out to all my course mates who are we're all going through the same tough stuff together. Big shout out to that, and big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's been really good fun, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe when you come back from America, you can tell us all about that then.
Yeah, sure thing. Look forward to it.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Right. So, Ian, over to you for the shout outs.
Yeah, just a massive shout out to everyone who's been tuning in tonight and watching the show tonight. I will say a massive shout out to someone called Jace, I think, who's part of your Speedbird TV crew, Matt, who I think you've missed.
Yeah, I said Jace.
Oh, did you say him? Right. I just saw a comment from Visions International saying Jace, so I thought you'd missed him. So
yeah, no.
I thought I'd just slip that one in and drop you right in it.
Jace is there. No, Jace is brilliant. He's lovely.
Yeah.
He's great.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, massive shout out to you, Matt, for tonight. It's been absolutely, it's been brilliant. It really, really has. I haven't really scratched the surface of of your knowledge, because watching Speedbird TV and listening to what you talk about, it's an education all the time. It is for me anyway, because you talk about a lot of things. And there's always something I'd wanted to ask you. I play Microsoft Flight Sim, and I cannot get my head around the ILS approaches. I can do it on FS 2000, but I can't do it on the new Flight Sim. And it was something I was going to tap you up about, but we'll not go into it now.
Yeah, of course.
It'll probably take a bit too long, to be quite honest. Yeah, I can't tune into ILS frequency for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, apart from that, just massive thanks to everyone who's been involved tonight and everything. It's been a cracking show. It really, really has. So that's me done, Tom.
Do you want to fulfill the comment?
Dad, please, can I have a shout out? Yeah. Big shout out to my daughter Tina, who's commented a few times tonight, but I've managed to ignore him. She did say at one point, that guy in the left-hand corner looks really weird. And there was also another comment. I think it was Max Jet TV Live, who said that my clock wasn't working. It is working. It's just not necessarily right. It is actually right, but it's obviously because of the screen being back to front, it looks wrong, but it's not.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's me done.
Fair enough. Right, Steve, over to you.
Yep, lovely. Matt, again, legend, and looking forward to hearing about your training in America and all the best with it, and all your other projects and that, and appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone in the chat, particularly Transatlantic Alison, if you don't follow her on Twitter, she does a lot of on Instagram, she does a lot of Insta lives, and it's a great window into the industry, and she'll let you know where she's been, and you get to be jealous when she's ended up in Bridgetown, etc. I'll give Tia her own little shout out. She still has a fan piece on my fridge, if you can see it down there. I don't know if you can. She drew me a nice picture a little while ago of Pepper the pig and sent it down, so that was very nice of her. That lives in my fridge. Yeah. And just to reiterate, my big brother's birthday tomorrow. Like I don't know if you're still watching, but I hope you have a good day. Having me as a brother, I'm sure, has been nothing but disappointment. So when I don't give you a birthday present tomorrow, it will just be a continuation of that. But I will take the time to ring you up, because I'm not a total git. So yeah, and obviously Tom and Ian as ever. So cheers lads.
Fair enough. Good
Just
stuff.
say a big shout out to Loopy as well. It's his birthday as well today, isn't it? So, yeah, big shout
happy
out to Loopy.
birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday,
Yeah.
Loopy. I saw this comment here, Transatlantic Alice saying, if you're at Heathrow on the 5th, I'll wave as I blast off. I'm there on the 6th. If you want to kind of delay it for like 24 hours, that'd kind of be great. But obviously won't happen. That's a shame, really. But yeah. Okay, I'll do some shout outs. So firstly, Matteo, thank you for joining us. Obviously giving us some knowledge, and obviously not just us, but obviously when Speedbell are live and that, and obviously filling people in about particular planes and everything about them. So a big shout out to you, and of course, like I said, thank you for joining us, and you're more than welcome to come on again at any time.
Thank you.
Anytime. Steve and Ian, of course, for another stellar job. That's no pun to what Ian's drinking tonight. That's just a good job. There it
Cheers.
is. Yeah.
Inspired by Visions Aviation.
That's it. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I want how many bottles of wine Ken's got through during this show.
Yeah, wine and gravy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm curious to know. I'll put it in the chat in a minute. But no, big shout out to you too. Shout out to everybody who's watched this evening. A shout out to Jack Rolls for the super chats. Shout out to my old school buddy James Story. I don't know if he's still watching or not. Haven't heard from him for a while. And then he piped in yesterday and then found the channel, which I was like, okay, cool, nice one. Didn't actually expect that. But hopefully he's still watching. So that's a shout out to him. And then, of course, to all other... One bottle he's got through. That's disappointing, that is.
Yeah. Have you noticed the size of the bottle, have you?
yeah.
It's a magnum.
Oh, that's true, yeah. It's all about, size does matter eventually. But yes, it's a big shout out to everybody watching, and of course, key workers, frontline workers across the world. Have I missed anything? I think that's pretty much that. Next week, of course, we haven't made it obvious enough. But the Speedbird TV gang are joining us next week, which should be a lot of fun. Most of them, if not all of them, are joining us, so it's going to be a little bit chaotic, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting nonetheless. So Speedbird TV, the whole lot, Chris, Glenn.
Yeah. Will you be there, Matt, as well?
I believe so, unless
he could
be. Yeah, he could be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually know the
you're
names
gonna have
of
fun
who's
with them,
actually
trust
agreed
me.
to do it. So I'm still waiting on the names
so
of
much
people
fun
who
with
actually
next
have
week.
said to me, yeah, I'm still waiting for like the list of people, because you can only get 10 people on this stream at one time. So
Okay.
I've got to kind of streamline it as much as I can. But should be absolutely fine. Or as Darren Smith calls it, celebrity squares, because it literally will be tiny squares next week. So it'd be interesting. But yeah, they're joining us next week. So if you want to follow Matteo on the social medias, we'll just bring that up now. You can obviously find him on YouTube. I think your YouTube channel is your name, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just my name.
I just wanted to put
nice
that in there.
to-
Otherwise I've got it wrong. But you can also follow him on Instagram as well. Well worth follow.
Thank you.
Also, if you're watching on YouTube for the first time and wondering who are Visions Aviation, go find them on Facebook, give them a like, give them a follow, etc. And of course, subscribe to them on YouTube.
They're legends.
Well worth doing so. That is right. I'm just looking at that. It looks a bit weird, but yeah. So that's absolutely fine. So go follow them. Just literally quickly running down the whole social media side of things. You can find the channel on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on. You can also like us on Facebook, where I tend to not post much on there, but we try to do it as much as we can. And of course, if you want to see some old school plane pictures, that's right, I put them on the Instagram there, so you can follow that as well. But if that doesn't tickle your fancy and you'd rather follow Steve on Instagram, of course you can. Steve_planes. And of course, if you like to follow Ian, you can find him at the_plane_place. Job done. So, all that is left to do now is to say our goodbyes. Matteo, when we normally say this off screen, but I completely forgot, and I haven't done it for the last couple of weeks. But don't go anywhere when we say goodbye, because people tend to just disappear. So there's a little bit of an after party afterwards, but not like
no worries.
I'm going to say that live anyway, because go for it. Anyway, so we'll say our goodbyes. So we're going to start with, I'll tell you what, we'll go Ian first this time. Ian, if you'd like to say your goodbyes to the people still watching.
Yep. Just see you all next week. See everyone in chat next week, and hopefully you as well, Matt, and you, Stephen, you, Tom. And there was a comment from my daughter. Yeah, Tian saying that she's buzzing for next week. Hopefully she'll be on soon.
We'll do a Peppa Pig special, I think.
Yeah.
Her love for aviation goes as far as, I don't know, end at front room, I suppose. I don't know. She hasn't
like your love of chutney.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So, no, just thanks for everyone for joining in tonight. It's been a fantastic show again. A few issues when we started, but we managed to iron them out. And see you all again next week. So, goodbye, everyone.
Good stuff. There he
Take
goes.
care, everyone. Have a good one.
No, one by one. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
One by one. It's all right. No, it's all right. Glenn's obviously looking forward to next week as well. Just putting that in there.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll go from there. Right. Matteo, if you'd like to say goodbye to the wonderful people still watching.
So, to everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. I've had a brilliant evening. It's been really nice. Just chatting airplanes. Like, what more could you want?
That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you for tuning in, everyone. And it's going to sound a bit like a Speedboat TV stream now, but just like Tom's stream, like. That's all they ask.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to be on next week.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've seen some names here who've popped up right at the very beginning and have stuck right until the very end. So thank you very much, and apologies for me having my issues on my end getting in earlier. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a good bank holiday.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.
All right, Steve, in the most typical fashion as to why you have a T-shirt in the first place, take it away.
Oh, right. Here it is. It's still in the shop.
There it is. I love it.
I know what you're thinking. You didn't expect me to be that slim in real life, but there it is.
Go on.
Right then, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Cheerio, my lovelies. Stay safe, stay sexy, and until next time, look after yourselves. Have a banging week. Cheerio now.
Fantastic. Can't get enough of that. It's wonderful. Right. Also, Jack Rolls will be the recipient of free merch. I'll give her a message after the stream. But thank you, everybody watching. We'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. Next Sunday. But for now, have a fantastic rest of the bank holiday. Have a fantastic week. And we'll see you next week for another episode 60. So take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye!